So let's dive into security by design, a need for a comprehensive approach to generative AI. And as we know, security by design is really focuses on the principles that emphasizes the importance of incorporating security measures into the products and the systems at the very beginning of their design and development, rather than adding them into the system as an afterthought. The idea is that by making security by design an integral part of the design process, systems are inherently more secure and robust against potential threats. And some of the core principles really are outlined here, which is, and I'm sure if all of you can see the slides well, and I hope that you can, it talks about requirements, which is the top tier, the second tier design, implementation, the third tier, verification, and the the fifth tier, I can't count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maintenance. So as a part of the secure by design approach, we really want to kind of dive into the dynamic interactions among security, psychological, and governance, and how do you integrate those utilizing a security by design approach. The resilience and ethical behaviors and user trust that's a part of that design principle is also a key element. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to share with you a little bit about the AI model development, which really bleeds into the security by design. They can actually be used cohesively. And the AI model development lifecycle really includes identification of the business problem, makes sense, right? Identifying, collecting data, preparing the data, the model building and training process of that, and the model testing and the deployment. All of those 6 steps make, of course, comprehensive steps and make sense. And that's because generative AI presents unique classifications for threats that really should be considered in the security by design process. So with the AI model development lifecycle, the security by design process and the AI model design process, in my opinion, should be used in the same format, collectively together. The security by design process talks about the dynamic interaction between the psychological and governance and how it should be integrated and processed. At least that's what I'm sharing with you today, of how those things blend together. So all that intertwine, the aspects of psychology and governance, how does that fit into all of this, right? Talks about ethical, talks about the security and safeguards. We're going to talk about that in this area. But for successful implementation, it's really imperative to ensure resilience and to promote ethical behavior and foster user trust as developments of LLMs are occurring and or tools, right? As security professionals, we should hold firm that a holistic approach is essential to address the multifaceted concerns that we have, which are only growing by the minute, literally, as we all know. So let's turn the page to discuss the security challenges in AI LLMs. And we're going to cover, let's see if I can grab that, the significance of proactive security measures, DAN 13.5, potential for prompt injection and impersonation. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the consequences of malicious prompt injection, theft, false information, erosion of trust, which we all know, right? That's all pretty much given. For those of you who've been in this industry for a while, that's just the common. So in my research, this is what I've discovered, that by implementing a proactive security measures, and I know some of this sounds like common sense, but unfortunately during development, this is not being implemented as vastly as it should globally. Such as creating new internal security policies and parameters, or processes that really address UX, UI, user interface, user experience, our user experience, user interface, UI. So if you allow the usage of LL tools in your organizations, you really should treat them kind of as a third party vendor, which means that they must be vetted properly as much as possible. Enforcing password rule changes and enforcing multi-factor authentication, implementing data encryption for standards of transport storage that's being adhered to. Similar to kind of some OWASP guidelines and standards. You want to kind of keep it along those lines. The difference is that you're utilizing or viewing ChatGPT or other tools that are in your system that you decide to either develop and those you decide to purchase, that you're viewing it from the lens of treating it as a third party. If it's going to be, a TPRM, third party risk management, you're going to integrate that into your program, and you're going to treat it as such, right, as any other application or system in your ecosystem. So treating it like as a third party means integrating and managing it with the same standard